Hey, what's going on, good people? It's Tony Porter here with Wicked Artistry Candle Code. Welcome back to the channel. We are going to get into some data today. All right, so we're going to do what we call a burn test data sheet. It's an example, something that I use very frequently ever since I started. It helps me keep track. You can do this. You can design this on your own. Uh, Out here to keep track when you're doing burn tests. Remember, everything that you do in your business calls for testing. Whether you're testing a fragrance, whether you're testing your candle, whether you're testing wax, testing your wicks, testing your vessels, in order for you to have the perfect product, which we know everything be kind of hard to be that perfect, but in order for you to have the perfect product, you have to test it out. All right. So, without no further ado, let's jump into this. Let's get started. I'll explain this to you. I'm not gonna hold you up too much. So one thing I don't like to do is hold you up, but you know. So as you can see on the screen, this is a candle burn test data sheet. So what this does is this helps me keep track of certain candles and waxes and everything, and it also helps me to understand that practice makes perfect, and we'll get into it as you can see in one of my notes up here. Practice does make perfect. Okay, so the reason why I did this is because I have candles. Like I'm in the process right now of getting ready to wick up a few of my black vessels. I'm getting ready to pour a ton of candles. I have a Presto pot. I have fragrances I want to test. I'm ordering fragrances. Today is the day that I order fragrances. Most of the time it's Sundays. It's a lot of administrative work. So this is perfect for me. So how do you do it? Now, the one thing, let me explain this. I use this for my burn test. Now, I'm switching from QuickBooks to Crafty Base here in a little bit because QuickBooks is entirely too much for me. It's I'm not with QuickBooks. Nothing against Intuit and QuickBooks, but Crafty Base has more. It's more geared towards the craft making business, as to where QuickBooks is more geared towards your business of running a business. They don't have the specifics. So we're gonna switch over to Crafty Base this week. But let's get through this sheet real quick. All right, y'all ready? Let's do it. All right, so as you can see, I got it drawn out. Now I like to keep my stuff big. I'm sitting here on a big screen computer, so I want to be able to see my stuff. I want to be able to understand my stuff. All right, so we'll start over with box one. Box one says candle number. It's exactly what that is. Now, here's the beauty of having it. Back in the day, they used to put stuff on paper. You write it down, make a little ledger, and then you have to copy that, or you draw it out and you make a ton of copies until you have it, right? Same thing with her. Only thing is this is different. I can go down here to the bottom, and I can do a multitude of things. I can copy it, make a new. I can duplicate it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate this, and when you duplicate it, it just goes over. Then you have a duplicate sheet. You click on that. Actually, it's the same thing already. So, you just go back and there it is. So now when I want to go in here and change something, I just go up here and change it. So that says one. We're going to go two. And now that's switched over. All right. So, but we're going to work on sheet one. So we're doing a candle. So say this is your first candle that you're going to do a burn test. Candle one. First candle. All right. That's it. Put candle one. All right, so first candle you burn testing. Now, we're going to jump over to this next box. Next box is basically notes before test. So before you test, you want to take notes on certain things, okay? Now, this is after you pour, all right? So you have to understand, you have notes before the test and notes after the test, which is going to be the next box at the top. All right, so you see that notes after the test. Make sure everything, yeah, I figured that. Because my whatchamacallit is so big, my writing is so big, I didn't do it the right way. But anyway, so notes before the test. Notes before the test. Sorry. Need to center the wick. Now, this is after I have poured it. And when you're eyeballing, and remember, practice makes perfect. When you're eyeballing, it's hard to, oh man, I didn't do that right. That's how it turns out. So you don't want to, you want to make sure that you get it set properly, your wick. Because, you can sell a candle and it doesn't burn the way you want it to burn because of the way the wick is set. And trust me, there are certain things that will make candles not burn the way you want it to burn. Wick not being set properly, fragrance load too much, fragrance load not enough, wick too small, wick too big, the wrong size vessel, the wrong size wick for that vessel. It's a ton of stuff out there, okay? But you just want to make sure that you yourself, this helps you to know that, I need to get back in here and I need to make sure that I set this wick right so I don't have no problems with my customers, okay? So, and then like I said, notes after, that's after you have your burn test. And the reason why this is so important is I recently tried out the pineapple vessels from Dream Vessels. Shout out to Dream Vessels. And I ordered some wooden wicks and I wanted to try the wooden wicks. I've heard a lot about them. Well, as I ordered, I thought I hit the proper size, and I didn't hit the proper size. So the wick was too small. So my pool was about that big. With this side of the vessel, it should have been burning from inside out and made an even burn flow, but it didn't. So you live and you learn. You have to test, man. That's why testing is so important. So that's why I put that up there, because this test was pretty much done on that pineapple candle. The first time I ever done it on a pineapple candle. All right. So we're gonna go through the product values. So what is the product values? As you can see, I have ambient temperature. That's the room temperature. All right. So wherever you at, you want to make sure your room temperature. So a lot of places, the temperature plays a major part in your candle. So you have, if you live in California, Arizona, hot places like that, you have to make sure that you're probably in a cooler area, because sometimes, man, you could be somewhere and your candles start to melt. You ain't realizing it. You open a jar and it's, oh man. So I try to keep my house, because I live in the valley down here in Kentucky, 73 degrees. We vary. So in the summertime, it'll stay the same because the air conditioner will be on. In the wintertime, I try to keep it at 73. Plus, it keeps my bill down. So heated to the temp, that's basically the same thing as your melt point. Because, when you order stuff from like Candle Science, Pro Candle Supply, Nature's Garden, most of your companies would tell you what the melt point is. Now, the actual melt point to certain waxes, anywhere from 110 to 125. But I heat mine up to 185. That way I know everything has melted. The 125 is when it really starts to melt. 185 is when everything has melted. So that's my heated to temp. That's when I start to remove it from the double boiler and go from there and start to mix in everything that I need to mix in. Now, scent added at, I always like to add my scents at 175. I let it cool down just a little bit. And the reason being is I don't want to get too close to the flash point. The flash point is also on the website from your company. Wherever you order your products from, the flash point should be labeled. If it's not, I might be a little iffy about ordering from that company. But every company that I've looked at so far has their flash point located on the description, in their description. And basically, everything's been spot on so far. Candle Science is good at that. Wooden Wick is good at that. Just order something that's on its way from Wooden Wick, or fragrance in it, that is. Nature's Garden has been tremendous. They have almost everything. There's a couple more companies that I'm going to try out, but I'm going to Nature's Garden, and we're going to roll with that from there, okay? Now, my pour temp, as you can see, my added temp is 175. My pour temp, I like to pour mine anywhere between 150 and 170. Generally 170. It's like pouring coffee to me. I don't drink coffee, but it's like pouring coffee. I want it to be hot. Now, when I mix mine at 175 and I'm cooling it down 5 degrees, I'm stirring it for a minute one way and I stir it back another way for another minute. That gives me ample time to let it cool down. So anywhere between 150, 170 is good for me. Now, the pour date is good because if you're storing candles, okay, and if you have a labeling system, what that basically says is like you have candles that you might have. It's like food, okay. So you might have a thing of beans that you bought. It's like, put it this way, it's like going to the store and you buying lettuce, okay? They have a due date and they don't use past this date. That's what that is. So only difference is this is when you poured yours. So you're giving it ample time to cure if you're not selling them straight out or you're not using them. I can't seem to keep my candles in stock. I mean, it's been crazy. I expected to do well because of the drive and the emotion that I have, but I didn't expect it to do as well, especially from where I work at. I was expecting the guys to get it for their women, but they've been, shout out to my guys at work, shout out to the young ladies at work. Everything has been smooth, and I haven't even reached the peak of the people at my job yet. So I can only imagine how that's going to turn out. Now, with this particular candle, I poured it on the 12th, and I let it cure for 24 hours. I let it set for 24 hours. I didn't want to do a burn test right off the top. I went in and just let it cure for 24 hours. I mean, like, literally let it sit. And then, I'm sitting here playing around with this. There was no wet spots. So what are wet spots? Wet spots is if you look at the top of your candle and it look like water. All it is the oil at the top, okay? So you can get rid of that by heating it up with a heat gun or a hair dryer. But our wet spots is where the oil has seeped to the top. There's nothing wrong with your candle. It's just you have to pay attention. If you're trying to be in this business and business with longevity, you definitely have to pay attention to that, okay? So be sure that you pay attention to that because that's very big. You don't want to sell a candle and say, what is this crap right here? It's a wet spot. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with the candle. It's just the oils at the top, but it could cause flash points, so you really want to be careful with that. Now, the weight before, that's how much the candle weighs after it has cured and right before I do my burn test. All of the other stuff from the wet spots on back over to the ambient temperature is when I first started. Okay, so this is the mixing part. This is after it has cured for 24 hours. As you can see, it leads into everything. I did this on purpose. So the ambient temperature, the heated to temperature, scent added temperature, pour date. All right, cure time, wet spots, the weight before. Everything is a step to that process. All right, and then you go back over. I'm giving out the specifics of the candle. So I use, in this particular candle, we use IGI 6046. It's a cocoa perfume wax. I like that wax. It's very soft. It's very opaque. This wax itself, man, I was using soy, but I want something that has a slower burn to it and has a better throw for my scent. And I switched over, man. Jeff Steedley, Steedley Handcrafters. He talked about this wax. I went and sampled it. I wanted to do the cocoa apricot. I'm still going to do that. I want to test it. I'm going to order me a block of that. Man, testing is where it's at, man. You want to give your customers the best experience with your company as you can give them. That's all it's about. You want your customers to have the best experience, and that's what you do, okay? And so, testing out this, I'm testing out wooden wicks. Now, here's where I made my mistake. Like I said, the .02 wicks was the right size wick. The width of the wick is where I made the mistake at, okay? I didn't go 3.75 millimeters. when I should have. It's a wider wick, and it's based off the schematics of the vessel that I'm using. And here's the thing: when you see the information, follow the information. Don't do like I did with this one. I'm gonna test this wick out. I'm gonna order my own wick. Don't do that. If you're gonna budget by ordering in bulk. Don't budget by ordering the smallest thing because the price is low. Made that mistake. I had some wooden wicks sitting around here. I'll probably be using for small tins. That's it. That's all I can use it for. I can't use it for nothing else. But shout out to Wooden Wick because Wooden Wick came through. Called them up, ordered some more wicks. 2 days later, the wicks was here. All right. And now I'm ready to start wicking and getting my pineapple vessels ready for Mother's Day. Getting my other vessels. I'm switching over to different vessels after I do away with the black candle size tumblers. Nothing wrong with them. I love them candle size tumblers. Just I want to scale my business. I want my business to be the best. I want I'm not saying that candle sciences tumblers is not the best. I'm saying it's fitting my brand. Okay. So, but I love candle sciences. Candle science you order on Monday, it's here by Wednesday. Now with the scent, that my scent itself that's not a scent. That's a mixed scent that I mixed up. It's a peach passion. But both the products is from Candle Science. So that's the brand, the name, and the brand, the name, and the type. Okay, so the type itself is it? And I didn't put this on her. Is it aromatherapy? Is it a regular scent? Is it a summer scent? Things like it. That's how I look at it, because when I'm testing candles, I want to make sure that I'm testing for seasons, because candles are sold in seasons. Believe it or not, a lot of people be like, "Man, I don't want my candles to do this, do that." Here's the thing: if you're wanting your house to smell or your office to smell remarkable, you buy it in season because everything fits to the season. Now, the scent percentage, 10%. It was a simple choice for me. I wanted the strongest scent without giving my candle too much flash point, too much of anything. And then the dye, I didn't use no dye. And I put this dye because a lot of people like colored candles. Again, the type of dye. And so the type of dye would be either liquid or chips. The brand name, of course, would be where it's from. And I put the C, but I can't remember. Oh, wait a minute. The type of dye, not the quantity. Oh God, I'll come back to that, because actually this doesn't need to be here. So we need to take that out. I just remembered I put that on there and I shouldn't have. All right, so it's the type of dye and the brand, which I use no. Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. The color, the color of the dye. Forgot about that. That's what that was. It was the color, and brain freeze. Then the container type, which most containers are glass. You have glass, ceramic, stone, tin, things like that. That's how you determine. And then you have the container size. Well, this says 10 ounces, which is exactly what the weight of those jars up there are. And then the weight after. So this is what after you burn your candle. Now, I did another video talking about burn testing. All right. And I break down the candle math of burn testing. You want to understand what I'm talking about, you need to go watch that video itself. All right? You need to watch that video. So, this is how I keep track. And again, you're going to make, if you're doing this properly, you're going to have at least 100 of these going across, if not more. If not more. This is just candle one. I've burn tested a lot, but I was losing count on what I was doing. I felt it was time to do the business correct, and I went ahead and made this data sheet. And I'm right to the point where it's working out perfect for me. So now when I go to do my next candle, I just go down here, candle 2, and then I just re-enter all the information by clicking inside the cell and just, enter the information. All right, so that's all I wanted to do. Now, if this helped you out, please subscribe to the channel because we do a lot of videos like this. If this helped you out, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I will get back to you on those comments. All right? So, once again, thank you for stopping by. I am Tony Porter with Wicked Artistry Canada Co. I hope to see you in the future. Matter of fact, I know I'm going to see you in the future because there's something you're going to want to know that I'm going to put out here that you're going to want to see. All right? So, y'all take it easy. But if you truly want to understand that candle math, you need to go check out that burn test video. I'm going to put a description down below. Also, you can click on it at the end, and it should be roaming around here somewhere. But you could always click on them, and I'm telling you, man, you're going to find out a whole lot of stuff. That's it for me. If that's it for me, that's it for you. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's get it. Peace.